this is Brandon. Welcome to the 2018 Mariners preview. This is my boy Nate, and we'll be doing weekly videos of both this, other sports like basketball, golf, pretty much any sport you can think of. We're going to be doing reviews. I'm going to be doing my own vlog series. Nate's probably going to be doing his own videos, and this channel is going to be all pretty much sports related. I'm going to be going to the Mariners opening day, speaking of 2018, and Nate's, I'm sure, going to be doing a lot of stuff too. All right, what's up?
That pretty much sums it up. You just want to jump into the review now?
All right. Alrighty, let's go into the 2017 review of the Seattle Mariners. What I would say a disappointment. It was our Service and Depoto's second year in the house, and we thought we would have a great team. Right away, we had injuries to who do you have injuries to? Smiley.
Starting rotation.
Yeah, pretty much. We had. I think we had 40 different starting pitchers throughout the season, which is a recipe for failure. The fact that we ended up 78 and 84 just mind-boggles to me. Is mind-boggling to me.
No, I mean realistically, 40 pitchers and still doing at least not that bad.
Yeah, looking at it here. What do you see that jumps out to you?
Let's see. Well, the fact that only our top wins was at 12.
12. Yeah, that's not ideal. James Paxton. Let's look at James Paxton here. He had a 2.9 ERA with a 12-5 record. Yeah, sure, he had a great year, but how long was he on the DL for?
Got at least 3-4 months out of the season. Probably.
So we had Paxton on the DL. Felix even went on the DL for a while. We had Smiley never even stepped foot in a Mariners uniform. Let's talk about that. One of the most disappointing things is that we traded one of our star pitchers, Luis Gohara, who is now on the Braves, killing it and about to be, I think, number 3 or 4 on the rotation. In which I actually got a chance to see him pitch in Everett with the Aqua Sox, and he was nasty. He's a lefty, big dude. Was destined to be great, pretty much. He had all the mechanics to be great. So, what is your thoughts on that?
Typical Mariner fashion, right? Quality players and not really get anything back.
See, the thing with me is we went for it last year, didn't we?
I would have thought so. Gene Segura was last year. That was a big pickup.
Yeah, that was a great trade. Do you want to talk a little bit about that trade?
Just real quick before we do, you are right. Gohara is projected as number 5 starter.
Yeah, crazy.
Which that's disappointing.
Not only that, we traded Malik Smith for Luis Gohara, and he ended up starting for the Rays in center field. And who did we just trade for? D. Gordon in center field. Malik Smith, theoretically could be our center fielder right now.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, I'm not going to complain with the Gordon pickup.
Yeah, true. Exactly. I'm not going to either. All right.
Yeah. So
getting to the biggest. Let's talk first. If we're going to talk about the 2017 season at all, let's talk about the biggest trade of the year, and which was, do you want to talk about that? It's Ketel Marte and Taijuan Walker.
Yeah, Taijuan Walker for Segura. And
Haniger.
Oh yeah. I forgot.
Which was crazy. So we got Segura, which we thought was going to be an instant success. What do you know? He was batting. Let's see. Let's go back here.
He finished right around 300, right?
Yeah, he was. Let's see here. I think he ended up exactly 300. Look at that. And honestly, that was a great pickup. Let's look at his stats throughout the year. 300. Batting 300. He did play only 125 games, so he missed a good 35 games. But then again, what's the theme of the 2017 season? Injuries. Exactly.
Well, I mean, to put into perspective, right? So I've got Marte's stats right now.
Okay.
He only played 73 games and hit 260.
Really? Okay. So
I mean, right there, you get a big improvement.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So comparing those two players, you can clearly see that Gene Segura is the better player, and he's only 27 years old.
Yeah, 100% a good deal for us. And
then
Walker went 9-9 with a 3.5 ERA,
which is what we expected. What would happen?
Yeah, he's always been that way.
And you're gonna have lower numbers in the AL because it's better hitting, and you're gonna have better numbers in the NL. And he put up 3.45. Not hitting. That's a great season. Um, Haniger was the bright spot of our team the first 2 months. The reason why the Mariners were doing so good at the beginning was this young kid comes out of Arizona and just dominates right field. He was leading the AL Rookie MVP or AL Rookie of the Year. He was destined to be great, and then all of a sudden he gets hit. He get hit on the hand, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And
he was batting, right?
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
No, actually, no. He got hit in the face. Now I think about it.
Oh.
And it cracked his jaw, and that put him out, and that's when he started wearing that mask on his helmet. So that's
right.
That ended up. So I put that as a success, even though Haniger was out a bunch of games. So as we see, go back here, he was out.
How many times was he on the DL?
He only ended up playing 96 games, which is not a lot. But as a first-year player, he got some great experience. He ended up with a 282 average. I would like to see the stolen bases up. What about you? With only five stolen bases and 4 caught stealing.
I don't know. I mean, he did have lots of where is it? Right oblique issues. Right oblique in the beginning of the year. And I mean, is he really known for being a speedy guy?
No, but
at least 15.
Yeah, I mean, 10 to 15, I think we could ask for him. Yeah. And I love to see the 16 homers in 96 games, though. That's insane. Yeah. So that's 104 hits. He was on pace for around 180, 190 hits. I'll take that any day from Haniger.
Yeah.
So
want to get the strikeouts down now.
Let's take a look at the 2017 review. So we ended up 78 and 84. I know this is sounding like a typical Mariners fans, but as a season with so many injuries, I think going 78 and 84 is a little bit of an accomplishment with how decimated our team was with injuries. Yeah. What do you think?
No, I completely agree. I mean, we already said it, pitching, you don't have any, right?
Yeah,
having a multiple of your starting lineup.
Exactly.
So I mean, it's disappointing, obviously.
Almost every player ended up being hurt.
Yeah, 17 years now without playoffs.
It's
tough, but
looking at the stats,
we're probably a lot better this year.
Yeah. So what do you think about the stats? We ended up 15th in runs. So that's exactly average. We ended up 17th in home runs. What do you mean?
MLB numbers, right?
Yeah, exactly. 17th in MLB. 17th in home runs, which you'd like to see. That has to go up with Nelly, Seager, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get to there.
Stolen bases, we ended up 13th. Even though we were 13th in stolen bases, one of our problems, which we'll talk about, was base running. ERA, we were to end up 15th in ERA with how many injuries on the pitching staff we had is, I think, unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, can't complain really with that.
Yeah, and strikeouts with 21st, you know that's not going to be as high because we have really one strikeout pitcher on our roster right now, which is Paxton. Felix is not a strikeout guy anymore.
No, not at all.
Let's look at the problems.
Yeah.
So you want to talk a little bit about the first problem?
Base running, obviously. I mean, I think being an older team as of last year, not old, but Seager's not a fast guy, Cano's not fast,
yeah,
not fast, Zunino was definitely not fast.
Yeah.
I mean, having that and just getting guys that actually know situational baseball, right? When it comes to base running, I think, and
that's what I think a lot about it was it wasn't that we're not fast. It's that we're not fast and that we're trying to steal bases or we're trying to get that extra base or we're trying to leg out that double when we need to realize we're not that and we need to play for the on base and not the out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for real. Segura stays healthy. That helped with that.
Gamble stays healthy.
Yeah.
Bringing on D. Gordon, we'll talk about that, but that is absolutely the biggest. He had I think. I don't want to get it wrong.
60 stolen bases.
60 stolen bases. That's incredible. But oh wow.
That's one every 3 games.
I know we harped on it, but injuries. Awesome. So we had injuries to our whole pitching staff. Besides, I think when we traded for Mike Leake, I think that he stayed healthy, and I think Erasmo stayed healthy, which was a positive. That and star players regressed. So, what do you think about with the injuries and star players? How do those go hand in hand with each other? What do you think?
Age.
I
mean, Cruz is 38 now.
Mm-hmm. He ended up on the DL.
33.
Mm-hmm. He ended up on the DL.
Yeah, just Felix is, he's
Yep.
his arm's just destroyed at this
Exactly.
Not destroyed, but he got overworked a lot.
And a little bit of that, I think, is I don't want this to be a hot take or anything, but the K zone, I think, really is going to set him up for failure in the upcoming years because he should not, and can't really be a strikeout pitcher anymore. He needs to pitch to contact and pitch, for spots and not pitch to overpower people. And the K zone kind of reiterates getting that strikeout when he's not really that strikeout pitcher anymore. So I do like the K zone, but when Felix is not that pitcher, maybe do something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can still do the King's Court and do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like you say, he's just not a strikeout guy.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, and with the star plays regressing, what I really wanted to focus on is one, Felix. How Felix is not that dominant pitcher anymore. Not only that, he wasn't really taking care of his body last year. He got hurt for, I think, some of the reasons is because he didn't come in shape. He always comes in late in the spring training, doesn't really do that routine. And this year they actually forced him to come in early, and I think that will help a lot because you don't see that from Felix a lot. He was coming in late, I would say a little bit out of shape, but the pure talent would allow him to succeed.
No, I mean, I thought for sure he probably looked the best he has for a long time.
Yeah, me too. A lot of people thought like that.
He gets hit in the right arm, right?
Yeah, exactly. So exactly, and the main player I wanted to talk about is the biggest disappointment for me for the Mariners season was Kyle Seager's regress. We thought he would go from that 260, 270 hitter into that 280, 290 range, 25 to 30 home runs, 100 and something RBIs, and let's see how he did last year. I think he really disappointed.
Let's see, average would have been 250.
249. 27 home runs, yes. But batting fifth, you should have more than 88 RBIs.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you got to think, too, look at who's in front of him, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Who's in Cano? They're not going to run around the bases a whole
lot. Exactly.
Segura was hurt, which is going to be your speedier guy. So, I mean, it's just kind of this year, I would expect to see those numbers go up.
I would hope so. I'm really looking forward to him batting 270 to 280. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I was just about to say 275. So,
and
27 with like maybe 95 RBIs.
Exactly.
I would be happy with that.
The 95 to 100 RBIs I'd like to see, and not as many strikeouts. 110 strikeouts in 154 games played is not something that Kyle Seager should be aiming for or should accept in his career path, So I think that he looked confused at times. He was rolling over pitches. You could just tell in his batting stance that he wasn't confident out there. He's a 2014 Gold Glover, as you see, and the fact that he had a lot of errors last year, I don't know where that is, but I know that he wasn't the best on the field player either. So I really look forward to him stepping up, being that anchor on the defense like he was, and being that Gold Glove third baseman.
And if he can repeat his 2016 year at least batting-wise, that would be ideal. I mean, 30 home runs, 99 RBIs, 278 average.
Let's go. I'm going to fix this a little bit.
That would be – I mean, that's basically where we just told him to be at, and he did it.
Yeah, exactly. He's already done that. It's not like he's not capable of that. We just want him to be consistent and take that next step. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Big, huge possibility.
Exactly. Lastly, what do you think about the blown saves?
I think it's just being young. I mean, Diaz is a young guy.
Yeah, true.
I think his confidence got shook.
After
he blew a couple in a row there.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I think they probably should have took him out of that closer role a little bit earlier, just to get his confidence back up. But
exactly.
He ended up doing, I think he still had 34 saves.
Yeah, 34 saves, and let's see how many blown saves he had.
I mean, he only blew 5.
Exactly, he only blew 5,
that's
but
really not that
bad. Which isn't bad. I don't think he was the full-time closer the whole year, was he?
No,
he wasn't. He came in late because we really needed him, and he stepped up big. And I think he's going to be an anchor in our bullpen this year.
Oh yeah, no, he's 23.
Exactly. An alarming stat I see is James Paxton with 14 quality starts and 24 games started. I would love to see that ratio going forward, and I think he's capable of doing that. He just has to stay healthy, which is something that he's capable of doing. He needs to put that through. I've seen a lot of analysts talk about how he can't be that ace, can't be that opening day starter because he hasn't proven that he can stay healthy and dominate for a full year when Felix has done that for year after year after year.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Exactly.
I can't really argue that in any way. You know?
So, a little bit of a brighter subject. Let's talk about some of the successes. I think we could go through these pretty quick. As I think Mike Zunino, you want to talk a little bit about him?
I mean, from 2016 to 2017, right? His average jumped basically 50 points.
Mm-hmm.
Home runs jumped by 13, RBIs by 30. Just across the board, his defense went up. Like, it was a great year for Mike Zunino last year.
And it wasn't going that way to start, though. You know, no. He was having a terrible year to start.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Sent him down to AAA for about a month, roughly.
Yeah, about a month and a half, and he was raking it in AAA, and then comes back up and dominates.
He still played 124 games.
So. Exactly. So he didn't really miss too much. He wasn't injured or anything. He just was playing bad to start. Dipoto and Service, I got to give him credit on that. They made a gutsy move. You know he is your future. You don't want to blow his confidence, but you still have to let him know that hitting 200, hitting 215, and playing not so great a defense as he could is not really okay. And he went down, fixed it, came back up, and looked like an absolute monster. I think he was one of the best hitting catchers in the MLB the second half of the season, if I remember.
Oh yeah, and I mean just overall, you throw in his defense there. If he could stay 250, 25 home runs a year,
that's might be the best catcher in the AL at that point.
Yeah, and he's 26.
Yeah, at 26 exactly, and he's got the best years ahead of him.
Just so happens today he had a home run in spring training.
Really? All right. So he's on the up and up, and we're hoping for 250, 25 home runs. If we got that, I would absolutely be ecstatic.
That would be ideal for him.
Along the line of development, the Haniger and Gamble development is something that absolutely I don't think anyone saw coming, but the delightful surprise of them both batting over 330 to start the season. Gamble, I think, was 371. At one point, he was the best hitter in the MLB, qualified, which is unbelievable to me as a rookie. He might have fell off halfway through the season, but still ended up doing great. And still, the progression of Haniger and Gamble of our future in the outfield is incredible to me. And if they can get healthy this spring training, everyone is looking forward to seeing what they can do in their second year in the MLB.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, he ended up hitting 275 last year.
Gamble did? Which he fell off, but I mean, when you're a rookie, do you really have the grind in you of 162 games, you know?
No, definitely not. Their bodies aren't used to that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he still had 27 doubles.
Exactly.
I'll take that. And fielding, I wouldn't say he's a detriment by any means.
No. And he goes all out. He's not like he's that slow outfielder that's trying. He's athletic, and he at least goes all out for the ball. He might miss a ball or two, but that's what happens when you're going all out every play.
Okay, so yeah, here you go. He had a 980 fielding percentage.
Really?
Yeah.
That's probably top 20 at his position, so I'll take that.
Yeah,
along with his hitting, along with his speed. He's another guy that we expect him to have more stolen bases this year, right?
Yeah, he had 4 last year.
Exactly.
At least get to that 10 to 15 mark.
So if these two players can come into the 2018 season like they did in 2017 and keep it up and be consistent this year, then I think the Mariners have a great chance of not I don't know about winning the division with Houston, but having a great overall season on the batting stance.
Oh yeah, I mean if we can stay healthy, players play to how they at least average play, you're at least looking at a wild card spot.
Exactly.
Imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's all. I hate to say it, but as a Mariners fans, getting that wild card spot is something. That's at least playoffs, and that at least ends our damn fucking drought. Let's go. 2001.
That's all I want.
Exactly. And just today we brought a little bit of the past back, but we'll talk about that.
I do. Before we get into the off-season moves, I do want to talk about Mike Leake a little bit.
Oh yeah. Let's hear it.
Well, I mean, so you get him. from St. Louis, right?
Mm-hmm.
He plays 5 games for us. Goes 3-1 with a 2.53 ERA.
Wow.
Like, he went 32 innings in his 5 games.
And we gave up something tiny for him. I don't know what we gave up, but we have him under control in the next couple of years, correct?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I can pull up his contract real quick, but no, he's someone, he's had, 8 or 6 years of 200 innings plus.
That's crazy.
In the games he started for us, he went at least 6 innings.
And all 3 of them. And that, I think he might have been the only person to go 6 innings last year, it felt like. I feel like Emilio Pagan, which was another great success of last year, it was in the game in the 4th and 5th inning way too much last year because our starters couldn't do anything. And we relied on starters like Marco Gonzalez going 4 innings and doing horrible in those 4 innings.
Yeah, and I mean, he's wrapped up through 2022, so we got.
Oh, really? So that's, in my opinion, that was the second best thing to happen to us last season besides Segura and Haniger.
Yeah. Now, if he rolls last year into this year,
then he's going to be our solid number 2 starter. What do you think?
They'll probably start him at 3, but if he continues to pitch like that, he'll easily be a 2.
Yeah,
if not our ace by the end of the year.
I mean, if he's that consistent and Paxton, gets hurt like he's known to get, then Mike Leake will be our ace. Sadly to say. Not closely behind though. I did want to touch on Erasmo Ramirez. We got him for dirt cheap, if I remember correctly, and he pitched great. He pitched 62 innings with a 3.92 ERA and 11 games started. That's incredible to me. And for him to come back and look like an actual starter in this league is kind of mind-boggling to me because he was not that long ago. He couldn't even make our rotation and look like a player that wasn't going to be in the MLB soon.
Oh, for sure. I mean, when I heard about the trade, I could not figure out why Dakota would trade for Erasmo.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were confused. Like, what? Bring this guy back? He's not very good,
But I mean, I guess he must have saw something. I mean, even if he doesn't go into a starting role,
he's long reliever, Emilio Pagan filler. Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. That Emilio Pagan was traded this year, and the fact that we can have Erasmo fill that place, it would be great.
Yeah, that would definitely help out some of these starters anyway.
Exactly. That kind of wraps up the 2017 review. What do you think? Overall, I would say horrible for our expectations, but in review format, we did see a lot of bright things, and our future is looking bright, I would say.
I would agree with that.
On the batting side. I don't know about the pitching side, but we'll see.
Yeah, pitching is still...
Let's talk about the number one thing of the offseason. The thing that got us all hyped. The thing that I want to buy a jersey of. Motherfucking Gordon. Let's go. We traded D. Gordon for Nick Nehart, our number 2 pitcher, our number 2 overall prospect. Yes, and I know. And Christopher Torres. But damn it, D. Gordon was worth every penny. He's going to play center field. 2017, he had 201 hits, 308 average, and 60 stolen bases. 60. That's probably more than our whole team combined.
Probably.
We had more caught stolen bases than he had stolen bases. What do you think about D. Gordon? What's your thoughts?
Oh, I've been a fan since he was with the Dodgers.
Me too.
I've followed this guy all the way through.
Flash Gordon's son.
We have him through 2022.
Oh, that is unbelievable.
2021, he's a free agent at 2022.
Which he might resign because he likes us.
I mean, hopefully.
I mean, if we make the damn playoffs.
Yeah, gotta do that. Well, I mean, he came from Miami, so.
Yeah, true. They're in rebuilding mode, so I'm pretty sure he's happy about that. So let's kind of set out a projection for him, what we think he's capable of doing this year. What do you think about average?
At least 300.
300. Okay, I think yeah, if we can get 300 to 310 like last year, then I'll call that a success because if he's getting on at least 30% of the time and being a factor on the base path because he is one of, if not the most electrifying person on the base path, then I'm all for it.
I mean, God, did you see his little blooper he hit in spring training a couple days ago?
Oh, God.
Swinging bunt, and they don't even throw it down there.
Yeah, because there's no chance. Insane.
Yeah. I'm very excited to see him.
60 stolen bases. Oh, my God. The fact that, our biggest problem last year was base running, and the one thing that I can firmly say that Dipoto wanted to fix was this base running, and he went out and got one of, if not the best base runner in the game, D. Gordon, and I commend him for that.
And I mean, just relatively, he stays pretty healthy.
Yeah, I think he's played at least 100 something games every season. So if we can get 130, 140 games out of him, his talent, then I'd love it.
And I mean, he so far looks pretty well in center field.
Yeah. So what was he batting? 429 in spring training.
Let's see. Yeah, 429.
Yeah. Here's the stats. 429, 14 at bats. 7 hits. Or what was that? No, well, whatever. Yeah, and I don't know what I was just looking at.
1 home run, 3 RBIs.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. 4 runs and 14 at bats. I'll take that anytime.
Yeah, no, super excited for him.
Yeah. All right, moving on a little bit. What do you think about the low-key off-season move of the Mariners signing, bringing back Hisashi Iwakuma?
What's the worst that can happen?
That's what I'm saying. It's a low-risk, high-reward.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, at one point, he was one of the top 20, 30 pitchers in the major leagues behind Felix, and him and Felix were going at it, back and forth, having quality starts. So I think if he can even get back to semi what he used to be and be better than a 5th starter, get into that 4 or 5 range, then I think it could be a win-win situation. We didn't pay a lot of money for him, and the fact that he could come back and be somewhat healthy and be fresh because he hasn't played in 2 years, then I think that could be a great thing.
Oh yeah.
Do you think he has that capability?
I don't know.
Hard
to say.
But it's a low risk though.
Pitched in spring training yet? Do you know?
Let us see here.
I don't think he has anyway.
Oh, it's not working. Yeah, I don't think he has, but even late season, second half of the season, our arms are tired, our young arms are tired. If he can come in and put up 10 to 15 starts and have 3 to 4 ERA in those starts, then I'm all for it because it's a low risk, high reward type of situation.
Yeah, just easy like emergency relief if nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Going into one of our only free agent signings this year, which I know that Dipoto is more of a trade person, but we did sign Juan Nicasio, the relief pitcher that pitched for the St. Louis Cardinals last year and had the most appearances last year for a reliever. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know if that could have got him tired. I don't know if that could have got him, worn out. But he signed a 2-year, $17 million deal. And what do you think about that?
I like it. I mean, he definitely kind of came off of not a great year. Still went 5-5, 2.61 ERA. 2.61
ERA in the bullpen is good. I'll take that.
Yeah. Let's see. Pitched 72 innings. Had 72 strikeouts. So
really? Strikeout an inning. Huh? That's not bad.
Let's see if opponent average 217.
Okay. So, for the fact
not awful.
That it's an upgrade compared to what we had last year in the struggles we had in not only our bullpen but our starting, other than a couple bright spots like Emilio Pagan. But you had guys like Nick Vincent regress a little bit, and other guys show some regression. So the fact that we got Juan Nicasio for our setup man at Eddie Diaz, I think is going to work wonders. He's not only a little older and can help out Eddie Diaz in maturity stages, but I think that it could be good for our bullpen. A good way to have an anchor back there to hold it down.
Yeah, I mean, at the minimum, you got a veteran guy who's been around the league.
Yeah, exactly.
Help out Diaz with, I feel like they're kind of the same pitcher a little bit. Both more of a faster, high velocity guy, strikeout guy. And yeah. If anything else, he just helps out Diaz become better. Yeah,
exactly. And if Eddie Diaz becomes the most dominant closer in the game because of this, I'm all for it. Sign me up.
The 17 minutes.
Yeah, so I think we give that a B+. I'd say I'd give that a B+ signing. It was a little bit of money, but I mean, what other money did we spend this off season, right?
Exactly. I mean, we don't have really that many high payroll guys.
Exactly. We might
the main 4 or 5.
Yep. So going into our next trade of the offseason, we traded our Emilio Pagan, who I'm really sad to go because I think he was the best relief pitcher we had last year, and he really held it down for these starting pitchers that couldn't go more 4 or 5 innings. And it seemed like every night he was coming in for 2 or 3 innings, just shutting top hitters down.
Yeah.
But we got Ryan Healy for him. Do you know a lot about Ryan Healy? First baseman out of the A's?
Not a lot. I mean, I've kind of done a little bit when I heard about the trade. I mean, to start off, he's going to be an upgrade at first base.
Exactly.
149 games, 25 home runs, 78 RBIs with a 270 average.
Exactly.
That's not something like compared to what we've had in the past.
Mm-hmm.
The last time I could think of a solid first baseman is probably John Oliver.
Exactly. Well, I mean, we've had so many first basemen in the last however many years since John Olerud was our staple in our infield and one of the best players at his position in the MLB. And to finally get a first baseman that has somewhat of a future. How old is he again?
26.
So he's 26 years old. He has a bright future, and the fact that he could hold that position down.
So just guess his fielding percentage at first base last year.
I would say probably low 900s.
Yeah, 993.
993. So he was almost perfect at first base. So the fact that we went from I would say abysmal first baseman defense last year with Valencia and Alonso. I think this is a huge upgrade this season. Yeah, so what's with the Mariners in the A's fucking first baseman? We got dealt for Valencia. He wasn't the best. Then we've dealt for Alonso. He wasn't the best. And now we got the youngest of the three, which is Ryan Healy, which I think could be a real star in the making. Which the A's are playing their Billy Bean baseball and going for value. So I'm all for Ryan Healy, and I think he's going to be a great trade.
And just another guy you have under team control. So
exactly.
I mean,
so we lost Smiley, who never stepped foot in the Mariners uniform, which we already said that was one of our biggest offseason regrets, is giving up Luis Gohara, who is now a bona fide number 5 guy in the MLB with a bright future. And I know that Dipoto, it wasn't one of Dipoto's guys, but the fact that this guy had a bright future and you traded him for absolutely nothing kind of disappoints me as a Mariner fan and someone that knew Gohara had a bright future and pitched at the 97 to 98 mile an hour range.
Yeah, I mean, you watched Smiley in the World Baseball Classic though,
and he was doing good.
So it's just kind of one of those unfortunate.
And another thing about that from the 2017 offseason is Eddie Diaz and Drew Smiley both. One got injured, and then Eddie Diaz had a bad start to the season. Maybe that getting into the spring training and having the Mariners be the first baseball action he gets in 2018 might be a good thing, because I think he lost a little bit of his fire after the World Baseball Classic because that was such a high moment,
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he's coming in this season and with a fresh arm is great for the Mariners, and I think going to work wonders going forward.
Yeah.
So we lost, as we talked about, we lost Alonso and Valencia. We don't really need to go in depth on them. They were what they were. They batted 240, 250, and played below average defense. So they weren't any part of the future. We signed them on both. We had them on both 1-year deals, and we knew that they weren't anything going forward. We just need a year or two more until we get our top prospect, Evan White, into the majors. So
he'll be a stud for sure.
If Ryan Healy can hold it down for 4 years until Evan White gets good, I'll take that any day and let Evan White come in and thrive, because I think that guy is going to be a star in the MLB.
I agree. I mean, his defense, let alone, we'll get him to.
Exactly, and he's known for that too. So looking back at the offseason, what do you think was good? What did you like about the offseason?
Well, I mean, obviously Gordon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who doesn't like? If you don't like that trade, then I don't know. You're not looking forward to the Mariners.
I like getting rid of some of the older guys.
Valencia
isn't old, but he was 31, 32.
Yeah.
Martin just wasn't the same he was when he was in Texas. Dyson, another old guy.
Exactly.
I mean, I like Jared Dyson, but there wasn't really a spot for him on the team.
And now that we got D. Gordon, it's like 4 years younger and a lot faster and better. Yeah, it's such an upgrade. Yeah.
And then I think Ryan Healy, I think like we just talked about, he could be something good.
Exactly. Well, yeah.
It's potential anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
If it does, then great. If he plays a gap filler for Evan White, then I mean he did his job.
Exactly.
You know.
So I mean overall, I think we boosted some places we needed to.
Mm-hmm.
The one we didn't, which I was really hoping we would have started pitching.
Yeah. Going into that with the offseason, what's your quick thoughts? And I know that the Mariners didn't address pitching, but it's not they didn't address pitching. Pitching is still available. What do you think about all these free agents that are still these top flight free agents that are still available, like Jake Arrieta, Carlos Gomez? What's your quick thoughts on that before we get into why the Mariners didn't address the offseason? Why the Mariners didn't address pitching?
Let me actually pull up the.
Well, I'll go into a little bit. Jake Arrieta, which is a lot of people thought the number one pitcher on the market, is 32 years old, and no one has signed him because they don't want to give that player that wants 7-8 years that contract when he's going to be 39, 40 at the end. And a lot of these players are kind of playing the Billy Bean thing and saying we don't want to sign those players for that long when they're not going to be good. We'd rather go with the younger talent, the cheaper talent, and the talent with the future rather than the degrading talent. And Jake Arrieta might be one of the best pitchers, but can he really get better from 32 to 40? You know, no. I mean, he could. It could be a miracle, but I don't see it happening.
Realistically, probably.
Exactly.
Starting pitching wise, I mean, it just wasn't even that great of a free agent.
Yeah, and I know that Dipoto doesn't like to sign free agents, but I would have loved to get someone like a Francisco Liriano or a Trevor Cahill or a John Lackey or some veteran to hold it down.
Would you almost go after like a Lance Lynn?
Yeah, a Lance Lynn.
Kind of guy?
Yeah, someone that we could get for 2 to 3 years at $8 to $10 million. What did we spend on Gallardo or Gallardo, whatever his bum ass name was? That guy was an absolute bum, and we spent I think it was $11 million on that guy. $11 million. Why wouldn't we use that $11 million that we spent last year and spend it on some bona fide veteran pitching that we don't have on that team right now besides Mike Leake and Felix if he stays healthy?
Right. No, I mean, my question too is why are these top name guys not taking a deal yet?
Yeah, why aren't they taking that 1-year deal, proving that they're still good, and then taking a longer term deal? It's because that they want that 6 to 7, 5, 6, 7, 8 year deal, and no one's signing.
Yeah.
But I'm sure people are offering them 1 to 2 years. So take what you have, get into spring training, because by this time, if you take one of those deals later in the spring training, you're not going to have that time to prepare, and you're not going to have as good a season as you'd want to.
Yeah. No, I'm just looking at the available guys right now. Someone I would want to possibly pick up, Alex Cobb.
Exactly. Like, what's your thoughts on him?
Well, just only 30, which is one of the younger guys right now on the availability.
Oh, there's some grandpas on there. Let's say that.
Yeah. I mean, he played last year for $4.2 million.
That's it. What? $4.2 million. What are we doing with that $4.2 million right now?
He started 29 games, 180 innings, had a 3.6 ERA. Why not go after that guy?
Yeah. Why not? And I know this is a terrible reason, and I don't like it at all. But a lot of the reason is we don't have a spot for Erasmo and Marco if they don't make the team. They're both out of options. They can't get sent down to AAA, and there's no spot for them. But the fact that it's Dipoto's and Service's last year, and they're not going for it and signing these top-level free agents for littler money, kind of angers me in the sense that this is their last year. If they don't do good, they're probably not going to get retained, and they're going to be jobless. So why not go for it this year? Why not use all the money you can, get all the talent you can, especially on the pitching staff, where everyone knew that you had to get better?
Yeah, no, and you only got Goose for so many years too. Well, this is last year, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, that'll you got to get that one last bona fide guy to stop or hold down the 5 spot, and if you have to pay some money, then so be it. However, I don't know. It's disappointing. that you don't sign a number 5 guy. But I mean, the way Gonzalez is pitching in spring training right now.
Yeah, I'm not hating on that. He is having a great spring training, but damn, if we had Tyler O'Neill right now, that spot that we're talking about it, that we signed Ichiro to a 1-year deal, and a little bit of a sentiment move, that could have been Tyler O'Neill batting 320, 400 in spring training, and tearing up spring training and getting that 4th outfielder spot, you know. So it's really disappointing to see that Tyler O'Neill leave. But if Marco Gonzalez can turn that into something good this season, and we sign him to a deal, then I'm all for it. You know.
Yeah. No, I mean, find out, right? I guess
yeah.
Sign Kuma to see if one of these guys doesn't pan out.
Yeah, exactly. If you find a needle in the haystack and find that one player that goes off from the spring training and has a good season, then all those 3 cheap signings are worth it, because all we need to do is fill those last 2 spots with having Felix, Leak, and Paxton filling first 3 spots, you know?
Yeah, no, you're right.
All right, enough of the offseason moves. Let's get into the 2018 season. Let's get into the first base situation. What do you think about? So we got. I'll go over the players, so you can go over the analysis. So we got Ryan Healy, who we talked about. We just signed. Or just traded for. We got Mike Ford, who we got in the Rule 5 draft, and has to stay on the MLB roster for full year, or he's offered back to the Yankees. So there's that in play. And also we have Dan Vogelbach, who we traded last year, and we traded a great player in Mike Montgomery for. So he could potentially be a first baseman. So what's your thoughts on that situation? Who would you like to see win that?
Well, I mean, obviously, right, if you're all healthy, I'd probably go with Healy as your starter.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping Mike Ford would turn into something, but just kind of based on spring training right now, it's not looking great. And Vogelbach's getting 417 compared to Ford's 188 right now spring training. I mean, Vogelbach's, let's see, Ford and Vogelbach are both lefties, so you get that left-handed bat against righties.
Yeah.
However, I think Healy could probably go right or lefty and be kind of that everyday guy.
Mm-hmm. Which is really what we want, right?
Yeah. We don't want a guy. You can't get in a rhythm if you're going every other day.
Platooning, exactly.
Exactly. I mean, I'd hate to see the Yankees get their player back, but if he takes up a roster spot, then we could use that for a utility guy or another reliever.
That's kind of interesting, though. It's kind of like soccer. It's like the guy's on a loan, but if he does good, he's not on loan.
Yeah, it's a weird system.
Yeah.
And I get why they take him, see if he pans out to anything. But if he continues this way, he won't be with us at the start of the year. I mean, compared, Vogelbach, even compared to Healy, compared to Ford, Vogelbach was better last year in the minors. So.
Oh, really?
I think it's just safe to keep Vogelbach. If the Yankees want him, they can have that, essentially.
What's your thoughts on having Healy and Vogelbach on the MLB roster? Is that something you think that we could do, or are you thinking that we have to choose one or the other?
I mean, we've done it in the past. And I know Healy can play third base.
So that is a little bit what I wanted to talk about is what if Seager struggles and we end up either DFAing him or trading him at the start of the season and moving Healy over there, as say if Dan Vogelbach, or even if Dan Vogelbach is, say, going off in AAA and Healy doing good in the majors, why wouldn't we just trade Kyle Seager? Even though he has a fat contract, trade him for something small and move on from him, because to see Healy and Vogelbach succeed I would love to see that, and I think it's very, very possible.
No, I'd agree. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't trade Seager. Like you said, his contract isn't very good, which might be
a deterrent
to come back another year. Maybe that's why he isn't signing these guys that he may want to, is because of these contracts.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Seager's tough.
So we really need him to start out hot. I feel like if he starts out hot, he's going to end hot, and if he starts out bad, he's not going to be able to pick it up in enough time. And the fact that we have him at, I think his contract was 7 years, $100 million, really scares me. because we still have a couple more years of them. But we do have Taylor Motter. If Seager starts to struggle, maybe we sit Kyle Seager for a couple days and let Taylor Motter fill in. So the fact that we do have Motter, which can fill in at pretty much every position on the field besides catcher and pitcher, is great in the sense that we have that guy that really steps up. Or we have Andrew Romine, who kind of does the same thing. I'm coming on and liking Taylor Motter a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely fair. And I think Motter's younger than
exactly.
So you just need Motter to, which I mean it's not being a utility guy, you only play so many days in a row, but you'd like to see his hitting higher.
He did start out hot and then fade off a little bit, but then again, like we said, for those first year players, that the 162 game grind is really tiring and can wear on players. Yeah. Rounding out what'd you say?
Just a note on Seager, we have him locked up through the 2022 season.
Yeah, so that is expensive. Yeah, expensive and not something that we want to have on our roster if he's playing at a 230 to 240 level.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that for sure.
Rounding out our infield, we got Gene Segura, who I think is almost the biggest guarantee on our team at this point. He's going to hopefully be a 300 hitter. He's going to steal their bases, and he's going to do what he needs to do and be a stud at shortstop. Same with Cano. He did have a little bit of a drop off. I did want to mention that he didn't do as good as a Cano type season should have, but I think that he can get back to that form if he is not injured in this year and the fact that he's going to have a full season to play.
Oh yeah, and the two guys batting in front of him, he's going to want to get those RBI stats back up.
Looking at our outfield, we have Gamble, who I think has a great future. We have D. Gordon, who I think is already one of the most electrifying players in the game, and we have Mitch Haniger. I think we have one of the brightest futures in outfield going forward, along with Guillermo Heredia, who was a stud last year for us in a fourth outfielder role.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, realistically, for what we have right now, outfield is about as good as it can get.
Yeah, exactly. And rounding out, we have in our DH, we have Nelson Cruz, that I think, if not the top 3 DH in the MLB, and the fact that we have him this year is unbelievable, and he should hit that in that 30 to 40 home run range.
Yeah, no, completely agree. He hit 43 in 16 and 39 last year. So.
And we can probably expect that again. And the fact that he's doing that at the age that he is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And rounding out our fielding, we have Mike Zunino in the catcher. We already talked about him a little bit. If he can get off to a hot start, if he can have a great year, then I think we're in great things for the Mariners because the fact that he's our catcher and the catchers usually have in the 200 to 230 batting average, if he can get in that 250 to 260 range, it's going to be an awesome thing for the Mariners going forward.
Yeah.
And very realistic for him, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he just proved he could do it this last year. So
exactly.
It's not out of the possibility.
What's your thoughts on the rotation? So we have our first guaranteed 3, and Paxton, Hernandez, and Leake. What do you think about the next 4? Erasmo Ramirez, Marco Gonzalez, Ariel Miranda, and Andrew Moore. All 4 had bright spots, but who do you think the 2 pitchers will be going forward, and why?
Well, right off the bat, in the little notes there at the depth chart, they have Erasmo, who may not even get to opening day.
Really?
Yeah. Strained lat muscle, may miss opening day. So, I mean, does that literally mean just opening day, or does that mean possibly a weekend?
I know he's not starting opening day, so we can rule that out. Erasmo!
Yeah. At least Marco Gonzalez, I think, has a legitimate shot to make it.
And like we said, that he needs to make the roster for that Tyler O'Neill trade to even be worth anything because he's a free agent if not.
Yeah.
So are we going to say that Marco Gonzalez is kind of a lock in that 4th spot?
4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah, but he's a lock on the team. So we got to kind of pick one from Ramirez, Ariel Miranda, and Andrew Moore.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up at least spring training stats right now.
I'll give my prediction real quick. I think that Andrew Moore, I would love to see Andrew Moore just run, improve on that kind of strong 2017 season with a bright future and dominate the spring training and be our 5th starter. I'd love to see that. but I don't know if that's realistic for the start of the season. So I think it's going to be between Erasmo and Ariel, which I think that if this is my prediction, either or, they're both going to be on the MLB roster, with one of them being in that long reliever role.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just based on spring training right now from Moore, it's not looking great.
For who?
As Andrew Moore.
Oh, okay.
He's got an 8.5 ERA.
Yeah, like I said, I think he's going to struggle this earlier part, but maybe later in the season when we have an injury or something, he can step up and be that knight in shining armor.
Definitely one of those guys that you just want to have as an emergency backup there. And then Miranda's at a 3.6 ERA, so probably. I mean, and I wouldn't mind having that extra lefty if Miranda goes to the bullpen.
I wouldn't mind Miranda or Erasmo going in the bullpen. I would like to see Miranda win that because I think that he has the brighter future, and if he can get through a full season, and I know that he did last year with being shut down at the very end because he had so many innings. But if he can get through a full season out of Miranda, that's awesome because I think he's a 3 to 4 ERA guy, but something that you can rely on if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that for sure.
So looking at our bullpen, we got Eddie Diaz, who we know is going to be that closer. We talked about him. Yeah. We need him to have a great year if the Mariners plan on doing great because one of our things of last year was blown saves, and if he can hold down that closer spot with Nicasio holding down that setup man, then our back end of our bullpen will be set, and we'll only have to worry about the middle guys.
Right. No, I think our three, like you said, 7, 8, 9 guys are pretty well set.
Mm-hmm.
Probably can't get that much better in any of the league, to be honest.
Adding in David Phelps, you're talking about. Yeah, in which we got last year. That was a bright spot last year, but like every other player on the Mariners roster, got hurt.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, just kind of looking at the depth chart you have pulled up right there, obviously we'll probably go with like an 8-man bullpen. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're going to lose 2 of those guys probably.
And
pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. I think if we lose Rumbelow, Zick, or Armstrong, any 3 of those guys, and keep Altavilla and Pazos, I'd say have a brighter future. I think we could really see a top 10 to 15 bullpen. I would say 10 to 12 exactly. If we can have a top 10 bullpen, then I think we have our chances of getting into that postseason first time since 2001. Praise the Lord if we get in. I think if that can happen, we have to have a great bullpen because that was one of our struggles last year.
No, I completely agree. I mean, just kind of looking over it, I'm really not. See, here's the problem with Seattle, right? Every year we look at the depth chart, look at the rosters. You know what?
We're gonna be good this year.
I'm doing the same thing again this year, and I mean,
what you see on paper is top level talent, but you just got to put it together for 162 games, you know.
Yeah.
Which
and maybe now they've played like Cano and Segura having a full year.
Mm-hmm.
That double play tandem's going to be really one of the best in the league for sure. I don't know, man. Might make playoffs this year.
There's a chance. I think if we get that wild card spot and we have Paxton coming off a hot year or one of his best years ever, then we could win that because when James Paxton is on, the Big Maple is unstoppable.
Yeah.
I just felt like saying that. I don't know why I did.
Well,
the Big Maple.
Right. When all his pitches are working.
Oh, he's unhittable.
He's an elite pitcher.
Alrighty. So lastly, let's. Oh, okay. Before we get into predictions, I was getting a little ahead of myself. Let's look at what we think on the spring training games. Is anyone before we're talking? I know we talked a lot about the players, but who really stood out to you?
I'd have to throw in not trying to be like riding him or but just overall, I think he's
had a good spring. So you're talking about Marco Gonzalez?
Yeah, Marco.
Okay.
I feel like there's other. Well, I mean, heck, we looked at Gordon Beckham today, and he's in like 600.
I know. We're looking at stats, and the one of the number 1 hitters on our team is Gordon Beckham. What if he takes that spot in Taylor Motter with the fringe players? One of those 2 players could take that, and if Gordon Beckham's going to have this good of a spring, maybe you give him that shot with Motter maybe having a couple options left.
I mean, he was he was from the White Sox, right?
Yeah, we got him for I think it was DFA or something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, he's one guy. Also, Braden Bishop.
Yeah, which is a UW grad. He also played for the Aqua Sox. Got a chance to watch him, and that guy is an absolute stud. The fact that we have him in our future, and we have him, Kyle Lewis, and a couple other players in our future in the outfield, we really have a bright future in our outfield.
Oh yeah, our outfield is set for at least 10 years.
Yeah, which is great to hear because our outfield has been dog shit for the past 5 years. Yeah. And to have that locked down is amazing. Well, the theme of, I think, this spring trading, oddly and sadly, unfortunately, any bad description you can think of, we've had more injuries. We've had Haniger go down, Gamble go down, who's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks, Heredia, who's still recovering from a shoulder surgery, Erasmo, who what does he have, a strained oblique?
I think that's what it says.
Yeah, Felix got hit in the arm, and Healy went down with an injury as well. All these injuries, what's your thoughts on them?
Though, right? Why wouldn't they do that surgery earlier in the year?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. I heard from the guys on 710 ESPN that he wasn't feeling anything too painful, and then when he got to spring training, it really started to become painful. I don't know how that happened, but somehow it happened. And I guess as of 226 here, he's taking grounders, and it looks like he might be back for the season, which should be.
I think he did a little hitting off the tee a little bit.
Nice. So we'll get him back, but we need these key guys healthy if we have any chance. Because if we're going to get off to a bad start, I think there's just zero chance of us starting. We need to be a top two team in the AL West to have a chance after the first month. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
So if we can be a top 2 team, what record do you think we will have to have? What record do you think it will take to get in the playoffs? And what record do you think we will have this season?
So just jumping before that real quick.
Oh, go right ahead.
Little updates about injuries. Haniger and Felix swinging bats today. And
nice.
Playing in Cactus League games this weekend.
Oh, so they should both be back 100% by opening day. Yeah. So that's good to hear.
And Felix is throwing today.
So that's almost a guarantee to come back to.
They should. At least those 3 guys should be good. Let's see.
Gamble, we know, is going to be out 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
With the injury, and Rosmo, we know that is going to be cutting it close to opening day. So we might see Ariel win that last rotation spot by default, with Rosmo not being able to come back the first week.
Yeah. Let's see here though. So standing wise. This year, let's see. The wild card teams last year were 85-77 and 91-71. So we're looking at probably at least winning 88 games.
Yeah, 85 to 88 games in that range.
Which I mean we've done in the past, but not as good of a team. I mean, the Astros are going to win the division. Unless some injury.
Something, yeah, exactly. Or if Verlander ends up being shit, or they just completely shit the bed, which no one can see happening. They're the best team in the MLB, and if anyone takes them down, I'll be surprised. But you never know.
So let's see. My guess would be 88, whatever the losses are.
Okay.
Let's see, 88, 74. 88, 70.
Alrighty, you're going with 88 and 74.
Yeah.
That, I'm gonna say, that is a little ambitious.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for 85 and whatever, 85 and 77. If we can get to 85 and 77, any wins from 85 to 88, I think there's a good chance for us to get in. If we can get in that range, then we'll get in the wild card and we'll win that game. And we'll get into the division series, and we'll win that. So
that's right. And we'll play the Astros in the ALDS.
And then we'll all realize that we'll lose, but the season was a success because we lost to the champions, probably.
That's right. And at least we made the playoffs.
Exactly. Which ends our, 18-year drought?
17 years, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
2001. Yeah.
Oh God, what a preview! What a preview! Overall, I think that was a great video. I'm glad that you came on, Nate, and I'm glad that the Seattle Mariners existed, so we had the opportunity to do this video. And if it wasn't for the Mariners, it wouldn't be for this video. It wouldn't be for the start of something great. You guys have a great night, and we will see you next time.